and you've got a pretty good shot at joining DarkZero. The two of them will be at 23 with 2 play days remaining. If you lose this game, though, DarkZero will punch their ticket to Milan, and then it'll be a battle between, I guess, those 3 remaining teams. We're going to Oregon?
It's going to be hell in a cell.
If a blitz isn't banned, I swear I'm going to lose it. I'm going to flip the desk. I don't think I can even move the desk 2 inches, but I'm going to flip it.
DarkZero went a year without playing Oregon, banning it as one of their first bans every single time, all to unleash it on Pro League. And while doing so, they ran Mint on the blitz roll. And what happened? He ran over teams completely. Rise Nation being the unfortunate benefactor of that particular game. I am very interested to see how this works out. Now, despite the fact that EG only have 2 points to their name over the last 4 weeks, one of which was a bye week, so we do need to put that disclaimer in there, they still are your favorites today. The community has voted 54% in favor of EG, 36% for DarkZero, with a possibility of a draw at 10%. One thing is certain, if there is a conclusive result today, we will have a clearer picture on the playoff race. First and foremost, once again to recap, if DarkZero win today, they are going to Milan. They secure their spot. If Evil Geniuses wins today, Space Station fall out of the playoff race, and then there were 3. Reciprocity, EG, and DarkZero. And it doesn't take more than a few seconds for Evil Geniuses to ban Blitz. Pretty understandable. You have to imagine that DarkZero were probably anticipating playing Oregon and probably anticipating a Blitz ban.
Yeah, I don't have to flip the desk now, so I'm happy about that because I probably would have destroyed my body in an attempt to do so. A Dokkaebi ban in response from DarkZero. Not a big shock there, as Necrox has been playing a lot of Dokkaebi lately, and honestly, he's been doing pretty well at it. So that'll be another one of those roam-clearing operators removed from the attacking side. One of the roamers in tandem, both the white noise operators, the South Koreans, will be taken out of play, as Vigil is now the ban, the second ban for DarkZero. The last one coming out from Evil Geniuses on the defending side will be a Maestro. So the first time, and I feel like a long time, we're going to have an Oregon with a Mira in play. Like we just saw on Coastline, a Mira also at the availability. Could be a difference maker here, but it'll be DarkZero starting on the attack and Evil Geniuses starting on the defense on Oregon. A lot of Oregon games lately we've seen have been split 3-3 at the half, and then it comes down to an absolute barn burner. The one problem with Oregon is that there's really only 2 defensible sites. Tower and dining room and kitchen are not great to defend. It's one of the reasons why we see so many 3-3 splits.
It's going to be key for EG is the rest of the team coming alive. Now, it's been the Geo show for EG, many games, game in and game out, with him carrying the weight for his team on both attack and defense. You know, he dropped 19 frags, I believe, against Rise Nation, England said. An astonishing feat for somebody who isn't necessarily going to be EG's main frag getter. But he still gets them, and he gets them in spades. Against DarkZero, if the rest of EG can come alive, then DZ's chances will be not in jeopardy, but at least severely hampered. This is an interesting matchup. I'm giddy with anticipation to see where we go because Oregon is as unpredictable as they get. A map that is often referred to as the place where good teams go to die. Well, even though EG hasn't had the best success in the second half of the season, I think it's indisputable that both of these teams are good teams. I don't expect we're going to see a lopsided affair no matter what. We hope that you don't have anything pressing to attend to because our first 2 matches didn't send you home early, and I highly doubt our third will as well. EG will be starting upstairs in the kids' dorm site.
Wouldn't be at all surprised if this ends in the 12th round, regardless of the outcome of the game. Should we know that a tie between DarkZero and EG would, again, leave an opportunity for Space Station. But Nyx will start things off on to Canadian. Playing inside a T3, trying to stall out the tower take. That is pretty common for DarkZero. Doesn't really do a lot of stalling as Nyx is able to dispatch him within 30 seconds. That'll be tower cleared. Just kill holes down below and some barbed wire. And an ADS all surrendered inside of the tower. But Nyx having no problem walking straight through that like a hot knife through butter. And it'll be DarkZero propelling themselves pretty quickly and swiftly through a tower take.
It's not uncommon to see a Jaeger play upstairs on tower, but also we know how important Vigil can be to the way that EG plays. Whether it's Canadian on that role, whether it's Geo on that role, it doesn't really matter. They're likely going to be as elusive as ever. And with tower, a Vigil is an incredibly strong operator because there's some height to his ability. He can be playing on that main floor, T1, T2, or T3, and you can think that he's playing on another. It often requires you to double up on your entry, which not just kills time, but can also kill you if you pick incorrectly. It makes it very difficult to drone out a part of the map that is already a little bit treacherous to drone. Mint, channeling his best BC, will toss a frag grenade in, and it will connect with Necrox. It's a beautiful toss all the way through the kids' windows. And VK also escaping with very limited HP, and it's a hot start for DZ so far.
Geo on a flank through the basement, attempting to come up the tower stairs, looking to descend upon it appears to be, I'd imagine, Nyx on the flank hold, but might actually be hot and cold at the top of those tower stairs in the midst of T2. Like you said, MVK low on HP and Geo off site. Heavy man advantage right now for DarkZero, and you've got 2 repelled on the kids' windows, and Young will narrowly escape to the top of white stairs as it was purview from the big window. Mint will collect the kill onto NVK though. Here's the flank from Geo. He's able to grab one and going for the run out for more. He can't land a single shot onto BC. Good trade out there, and now it's Young left in a 1v4 as the Mira stuck at the top of white stairs. Mint knows his location. Nyx will head in down below. This is going to be a tough spot here for Young. Try and push his way out of as Nyx will sprint straight past the bottom of the stairs and now engage, and not even a single shot coming out of the Vector from Young. It's Nyx with a good start to the round, a good finish to the round, and DarkZero walk away with ease. Round number 1 on the attacking side. Evil Geniuses, like we said, could stop DarkZero from heading to LAN this week, at least punching their ticket. And this is a very, very pivotal game for their season and their possibilities to make it to Milan. I imagine, yeah, they're not gonna try and screw around with another defense top floor. They're gonna rotate immediately downstairs, and just losing that tower control so early. Nyx with a great shot onto Canadian, really the catalyst in that round.
Dorms is one of the toughest sites to retake when you lose control of it. So I am a little surprised that when they lost Canadian as early as they did, they still sent Geo out on a mission instead of possibly keeping him closer to the site to maybe help the anchors and support players. Thought process behind what Geo is doing is if you can cut down on some of the pressure in Attic and then go for the run out exactly as he did, that could have been a beautiful opportunity to collect a number of kills. But I think Geo was expecting somebody on Repel in the windows. That small movement, look back down. Well, at that point, he had been alerted to the rest of DarkZero, and there was 3 bodies that were outside that were able to take him out. Even if he walks away with 1 kill, it's very unlikely he's getting more than that. Still a worthwhile trade because Geo would have been able to pick 2 targets off just for himself, but it still would have put an additional amount of pressure on Young on site. You don't really want a Mira to be the last member in a 1v3 or a 1v4. You've got a limited magazine. Yeah, you got a nitro cell. You can do good work. And of course, the high rate of fire on that Vector, if you're hitting your shots, you can be able to take a couple people out. But we don't see as many Mira clutches these days as we used to. A large part of that is that she's banned, but still, not exactly the best tools at your disposal. So, EG struggling on Dorms. It was a very swift round from DarkZero in terms of what they were able to do, and well, Canadian yet again. I am not certain what is happening, but this seems to be what exactly happened with Canadian in the reciprocity match. An early death on a number of occasions, and is so far 0 for 2 on the entry for Nyx, as Nyx has been able to get the best of one of EG's best players.
Now pushing up the top of white stairs now. Looks like it's Necrox left alone on an island over by the master bedroom hallway. We've also got support from inside of Kid's bedroom and NVK flexing up the back of the tower stairs, so they're leaving Young alone on the objective. DarkZero, one of the best teams in the world at picking apart one individual weakness and completely changing the strategy mid-round. Mid-round adaptations, also a strong point for Evil Geniuses. The alibi will reveal a position of Nyx on the top of white stairs, but you also got to repel on the big window. By Prisma reveal will expire, and drones now will identify the location of Necrox as he tries to retreat towards the armory stairs. And now the ingress here from Nyx as he turns to the corner will take down another one. Aiming in for Necrox though as he tries to go for 3 and he'll collect them all. Nyx with the G36C on a rampage, and it's NVK and Young left alone to try and keep this from getting away from Evil Geniuses.
Interestingly enough, here's the change for DarkZero. You had Nyx on that hard breach support role so much, you kind of freed him now to be in a great position. Down goes Mint as NVK plays the back tower so well. You're going to have to expect that Echo of NVK to get back to site after he's lost a little bit of HP. He's a little worse for wear, but with that kill on Min, I'd say he's wearing it well. That'll leave Young just now to try and maybe stop DarkZero, depending on what DZ is able to do. Nyx will just sprint his way down. There's no fear right now in the heart of this Ashe. He's going to dare somebody to possibly try to engage with him. Interesting to not see a Mira plate on Laundry Supply downstairs either. Someone on the dorms as Nyx will do some Overwatch. Smoke goes out, but it will miss hot and cold, and we'll see if Nyx can collect anything more than the 3 that he's gotten so far. Well, Young's going to take out BC, and now rest of DZ will vacate the site after getting that defuse down quite successfully. It's going to be a very difficult possible retake here. It really will depend on where the Yokais are located for EG. See NVK trying to move the Yokai on in as an asphyxiating bolt will cover that diffuser. Smoke going out for Young, who will inch his way up, obscuring the spot, hot and falls, and more will be on the shoulders of Nyx now. He's going to push up over to the stairs. Jarvis still in a position. Can Nyx grab a 4th kill? He's going to hurt one, go in for an engage yet again. Nobody on the diffuser. Nyx inching his way down. 4 kills for Nyx, and a 5th! Nyx collecting every single kill. It was a 1v5 the whole round, and it's 2-0 for DarkZero off of a G36C in the hands of one of DZ's newest members. Just say it. I know you want to. Just say it.
What am I supposed to say?
I finally got to cast an ace. I know you're looking.
Oh, yeah!
Smug smile on your face. I finally did it. Hooray. What a round from DarkZero. Holy hell.
Clap for him, chat. Clap for him. He got one. He doesn't have to suck it anymore.
I just don't need to cast with Michael, apparently. Remove Michael from the broadcast, and I get the ace.
Easy clap. Not as much of an easy clap here for Evil Geniuses, though, as they stand looking down the barrel of a 2-0 deficit. They'll return to the basement now. Almost identical operator lineup. Canadian still playing the Jaeger, as he was on the alibi last time around, but he'll go back to his operator of choice from the first round. Nyx with 7 kills. 2 rounds. It's kind of having some fun right now, maneuvering the map with ease and not really, I don't even think he can miss right now. Nyx is clearly one of the pivot points for DarkZero right now on that Ashe roll, and honestly, it's great teamwork, honestly, from DarkZero to be able to collect all the information. On the flip side, though, for Evil Geniuses, information seemingly at a loss on the objective, unaware of where the plant was going down. You saw that smoke miss its location and head to the laundry bins, allowing a free plant for hot and cold. You also saw NVK have to rotate a Yokai well after a plant was completed. So poor orientation of information for Evil Geniuses on the objective there, and also that roam dismantled in a hurry by Nyx. Good pressure upstairs from DarkZero, but again, it's the individual plays for DarkZero winning it out. Now Necrox will swap over to a dock and play the tower stairs, and looks like Canadian is going to try and hold up and closer to sight this time and try not to die within the first 30 seconds.
You try not to read too much into these kind of things, but you just saw how much of the magazine Canadian just expended to shoot 1 drone. I would assume that there's probably a lot of shakiness in this match for EG. This team has not looked the same for the last 2 months. You have to go back exactly 2 months ago, almost to the date, to find EG's last victory. It was against Norarengo in the group stages. It was the victory that allowed Evil Geniuses to be the first team out of their group onto the main stage of the 6 Invitational, but that would be all she wrote. And since then, EG has not been able to find a victory. 2 draws, all they have to show for it. The opportunity to go to Milan in jeopardy. And now they're going up against a team that has had their own share of struggles, their own inability to close out games, and let opportunities that seemed all but assured slip through their fingers in DarkZero. I would imagine that this is probably the highest pressure game that EG has played so far this season.
I completely agree, and it seems like the pressure right now, a team like DarkZero, like you said, who has a propensity to choke in these high-pressure matchups, they started off well. Evil Geniuses, though, as I denoted earlier, a strong team in their ability to counter-strat their opponents. It's only a 2-round deficit. This used to actually be the MO for Evil Geniuses. Drop the first 2 rounds, and then go storming on back. On Oregon, though, might be a little more difficult, as talked about how Oregon typically splits 3-3 at the half. Take a little bit of a run here for Evil Geniuses to draw level heading into their attacking rounds. We still stand at a 5v5 though, as the plant push coming out from DarkZero a little bit later than usual. Kobe there from mid won't connect, and shots rattle out against the barricade, but there goes Hot and Cold going in for a plant again. Jarvis will click the kill onto Canadian, tried to rush through the hallway. Flashbangs rang out, but it was Hot and Cold who had to get off the plant. Only losing about 10 HP at the base of the main stairs, but Nyx will come in for his cover. You got 3 members of Evil Geniuses all stacked inside a supply room.
And somehow you have to go for the defuse down, but down goes Hot and Cold. Nyx, who was the fragging machine last round, will now go for the plant himself, getting narrowly closer to doing so. Yokai will come in, and it won't be able to get it because Young Smoke will take Nyx out. By the skin of their teeth, EG will be able to stop DZ there, and that's good timing on their behalf. They're all very hurt, and DZ will try to cut down the remaining members, as it will likely just be them swinging for the fences. BC in the meeting hall takes out Necrox, but the Yokai is still in play. Oh, it's coming down close for both teams now as it's a 1v2, but Jarvis doesn't have any time. He'll need to go for kills, and he'll twist in the wind. He manages to shut one member of EG down, but this is a sigh of relief for EG as they just narrowly take that round. Once again, coming down to the plant denial, and EG will stop the bleeding for the time being.
Good response there from Evil Geniuses. Like I said, their ability to counter-strat cannot be understated. And now, it's Evil Geniuses cutting that deficit in half. They'll now be forced back upstairs to the dorms, though. Canadian, at least initially, flexing his probably signature operator of all time, the Pulse. See if he locks this in or if this is a fake. No, it'll be Geo6 picking off of the Castle. Probably a smart play there, as Castle would denote maybe one of the odd sites, tower, or a kitchen dining defense. Swap over to the Valkyrie. So a lot of advanced intel right now for Evil Geniuses. This also screams to me that they're going to be playing downstairs from kitchen as opposed to trying to go for that tower flank, and probably the right response, especially when you're seeing DarkZero go for that initial tower take and then push over to the kids' windows. Easiest way to repel that, set yourself up in kitchen. Young playing the mirror will probably place a kitchen or a mirror inside a kitchen facing dining so they can reinforce off, make a little bunker, some kill holes up through the floors to the windows. Will hopefully stall out. And that was the big factor last time around for Evil Geniuses as well, was the ability to stall out DarkZero and not lose members early.
So back upstairs to kids' dorms, a lot of which hinged upon that tower play, and a lot of it hinged upon the roam as well for EG that didn't end up being as potent as I think that they had hoped. And as we mentioned, kids' dorm site upstairs is by far and away one of the hardest to retake after you've lost control. Very difficult to do so, especially when you find yourself at a significant numbers advantage. Though, to be fair, if you as a defense find yourself holding onto the site in a 2v4 and the attackers haven't taken advantage of it, it's easy to hold on with only 2 bodies compared to the 4 for your opponents. It really depends on the way that it shakes out. It also depends on whether or not you're able to get the plant down. So we'll see exactly if EG is going to invest as many bodies off-site. You mentioned that signature operator in the Pulse in the hands of Evil Geniuses. Well, as long as he can play downstairs or remain relatively under the radar, then this is going to bode very well for EG. Nyx has been his kryptonite so far. We'll see if there's going to be a successful entry for the Ashe here, or if EG are going to play in a way to support themselves. One piece of criticism that has to go to the entire team of EG and not necessarily just Canadian is that EG have not been supporting the solo roam of Canadian. There has been nobody even close to him, nobody in the same zip code, or since he's Canadian, I guess postal code. Nobody even remotely close to him to be able to trade him off, and that falls on the rest of the team. It's not just a singular effort. And as well as DZ have played it to be able to find him and pinch him, there needs to be a better support there from EG.
Well, I like this adaptation. You're talking about being able to support your teammates and being able to be in position for trades. Much better positioning here. You're able to bunker up inside of kitchen, and DarkZero have absolutely zero intention of attempting to clear out kitchen from dining room or even meeting. No real pushing power just yet. As I say that, it looks like a Claymore is placed on the dining with the doorway. EG now flex Geo into the small tower. Drone coming out from Nyx seems to have a bead on him, and they'll spot the legs of Geo on cams inside a small tower at the base of the stairs. Waiting for Nyx to read this and go for the push, but Young and Necrox taking a handful of damage inside of the objective. Oh, it looks like a run out coming out here from Geo. A frag grenade, though, will land just shy of collecting the kill as the 2-speed operator will run away and now hit the deck inside of small tower.
So all of EG is under fire. Look at the health. Finally, Geo finished. It's 2 for DZ as they're able to put it together, and Jarvis will go in for the plant. Canadian all the way over by Armory along with NVK, but the plant's still going down successfully. Oh, that went from bad to worse for DZ as the only member left is Mint. A wonderful retake from EG to counter every single step that DarkZero took. And it'll leave one of the most clutch players in all of North America against a team that will likely have a lot of patience. Only 14 seconds left, and Mint still under lock and key here by the Valkyrie camera spotting him. He is miles off of sight. Only 5 seconds to go, and Diffuser down in the middle of kids' dorms. I think he's well aware, just as you do. This one's an easy lockout for EG. Kill or no kill, it's still going to be EG's round to take. And all of that being won right as the push was going down. A failure from DarkZero to control that first floor and really assess that flushing the members of EG out of kitchen proved to be your undoing. A nice comeback there from EG to tie it up and keep it as close as we expected heading into this match.
Like I said, beautiful response and beautiful counter to the strategy there that DarkZero will bring. I imagine if Evil Geniuses, actually, they won't have the availability to go back upstairs for the rest of the half and the rest of the game. As our last two defensive rounds most likely played tower and then back to the basement, unless they really want to go kitchen dining or double up on tower, which both seem improbable. It'll be a tower defense initially, though, coming out from Evil Geniuses, as they look to continue the run they're on. They drop the first two, they win the next two. They're in a good spot here. NVK taking out the Ella, so he's also on a bit of a carousel of operators, and especially different roles. You see the Ella more positioned for fragging possibilities at close range, possibly to hold down the base of the tower stairs or roam down into the basement, as opposed to the Echo role that he was playing inside of the laundry defense, as opposed to the roles he's been playing on site upstairs and downstairs inside a kitchen. Very, very flexible roles being placed upon NVK, and that's kind of the whole MO of Evil Geniuses, is they tout themselves as being one of the most flexible teams in North America and in the world. Clearly showing every single possible strat they might have up their sleeve, as this game means everything to them, as we've said.
To both teams.
Both teams.
It's hard to really put into words the stress that these two teams must have felt. I mean, it's nowhere near as much as DZ had last season against Rogue. That one was a win or go home. That was simply it. Say, put both your careers on the line in that one, and it comes down to a 1v1 in the very final round. You couldn't ask for a better story than that. And of course, it did not go in favor of DarkZero, and they're hoping that this time that they don't need to play their way all the way to the end. The math in this matchup, though, as we said, DarkZero wins, they go to Milan. Even if they lose, they don't play next week. They have a bye. But even if they lose, depending on what happens in the EG reciprocity sphere, DZ could clinch their spot next week without even playing. If not, it's going to come down to DarkZero's very final game, which is against Rise Nation, who have looked pretty good over the last couple weeks, so it is by no means a sure thing. That's where the pressure comes from on DZ's side of it for EG. They've got 3 games to work with. They still trail DZ, but you look at EG, they got reciprocity next week.
You talked about the ability to protect Canadian on the roam instead of leaving him out on an island, and it looks like Evil Geniuses are reading our minds all the way from the caster's desk in Poland. Good read there from the entire team as we eclipse the midway point in the round, and DarkZero again moving with a much slower pace. And it's Evil Geniuses not giving DarkZero the opportunities to collect free kills early on. Nyx will take a little bit of damage in a gunfight with Necrox through that stage wall. Nyx winning out in the damage done department, but it's Jarvis now hopping down to the T2 window and rotating all the way around, and pixel peek there from Nyx. Not enough time to collect the kill on the Necrox. He escapes all the way up the tower stairs into T2 and the leverage, and now it's Nyx droning the basement. They're very worried about Geo on the pulse, and this common operator to be played downstairs for all the calls inside of meeting. They do have the box hatch open, but they have hallway hatch reinforced, so no Nitros can come up to the default plant spot that we saw Rise attempt against SSG a few weeks ago.
You've got Nyx at this point basically doing double duty as a flank watch. You're watching all the way inside a meeting hall, possibly to cut somebody down if you go for an engage on the stairs to tower, and then you've also got him watching the laundry room stairs down below. And interestingly enough, but it's going to be a run out from Necrox. He didn't have very much HP with left to work, so I figure why not go for broke? Oh, Canadian goes for the run out, and his fellow Canadian comrade Jarvis will take him out of the fight. That's 2 kills for Jarvis to start off with. You know that Geo is downstairs. There's still a drone from DarkZero watching with 20 seconds left. This looks to be working in favor of DarkZero, and they've locked EG out for the time being. They got 2 more bodies to find. It's going to be Geo coming on back to site, but he's got all by himself an opportunity to try and shut this down. He won't be able to do it. Diffuser successful, and there'll be no return to form for Geo. DarkZero will be able to hold off the push from EG and prevent a miracle from happening. Good coverage, and that's a lot of the way that Tower plays out. You can't really control it once the tide starts to come in.
It's the aggression again being punished on the side of Evil Geniuses by DarkZero. And obviously a tower defense, you kind of have to take those chances. You have to stretch out. You have to take those shots where you can. And this is the #1 reason why we end up in 3-3 draws at the half all the time on Oregon, because you go on a bit of a run on defense. You got to end up playing one of the offsites. And it's most likely tower more often than not. We haven't seen too many kitchen and dining defenses in a very long time. But this provides the opportunity. Okay, Canadian sick of, I guess, going out on the roam with a gun, and honestly, I kind of like this change here from Evil Geniuses. Reading the intel, Jarvis is still bringing the Capital, but he's very much more focused on cutting off rotates and mirror windows with the asphyxiating bolts. As long as Canadian can maneuver away, maybe in the hallway away from Jarvis and not draw his ire too early, he might be able to evade the utility being dumped upon him by DarkZero late game. And that's honestly the difference that won them the last 2 rounds, was the ability to stall. Saw DarkZero constantly repeating a plant attempt in 20 seconds left, 15 seconds left, 10 seconds left, and then Jarvis with no time at all. Clock runs down, even though he gets it down on the first defender rushing at him. Second one's in the back. So the clash is only going to help amplify that. And I like this change, especially with MVK sticking the Echo as well. It's a lot of plant denial here and a lot of stall factor from Evil Geniuses. Also, this Yokai drone from MVK was never spotted, and no IQ being brought from DarkZero to find any of these drones.
It was pivotal in that round in particular, and it was able to knock, I think it was Hot and Cold, or no, it was Nyx out of the plant. It didn't really matter because the toxic canister cut Nyx down, so he wasn't going to be able to finish the plant animation at all. I like the point that you mentioned about the Capital, though, and it's something that you'll have to keep an eye on. Zofia on the board, there are tools here that you can use on the Clash, but, I mean, even if you put Canadian in a position where he's going to be safe, he still can do what Clashes do, turn around and start fragging out with the likely having the SMG in hand instead of the pistol. That'd be my guess, at least. DZ's biggest focus is going to be on taking control of the meeting, as a lot of teams will do. Looks to be relatively clear for the time being, but the fact that there's the open hatch and attic will give them some pause. The top of back rear stage wall is also shot out, so you'll put Nyx in this position. Just a nice reflex test to see if somebody will be able to hit him from the tower stairs, as Nyx has been an incredible asset for DarkZero in this matchup.
Oof. You can see that concussion orientation there now from the new breaching charge as they rip open the classroom wall. Nyx is slowed down a little bit, but still being a driving force for DarkZero. This deployable shield in the hallway dispatched up with relative ease by Nyx. We've also got BC, instead of bringing the frag grenades, as is typical to, and honestly prototypical to BC, he's got all 3 breaching charges to utilize on these classroom walls instead to open up purview in towards the basement for a default laundry plant. And it would be Hot and Cold, again, the first man in to try and go for the plant. And last time, Nyx had to file in on the Ash, try and pick up where Hot and left off.
This has sequestered all of EG at the back of the supply room now, because you see the total demolition that's been done by DarkZero on the main walls, into the closet wall, as well as into the laundry wall on the side. I'm curious to know how much of this clash has been spotted by DZ, because if they're not fully aware of where Canadian is on this operator, it could prove to be a major thorn in the side for DarkZero. If they waste all their utility early, they might have no answer for the clash whatsoever. You got Jarvis upstairs in classroom with that entire wall exploded, as you'd mentioned. The breaching charges that were in the hands of the Thatcher. And he will go and completely cut off the site. But there's Mint from above. He'll take out Young. Geo answers back. Canadian pushes on up. But Houghton is behind him. Canadian unaware of Houghton's position. He's going to try to plant over by the washer, but he's gunned down from NVK as EG are reading into this and retaking, just as we have seen from them. And there's Necrox above. Both members of the teams that had yet to find the scoreboard will do so, and it's all up to BC against his former team to avenge his current team. He's getting spotted on the yokai, unaware of its position, doesn't hold that diffuser, and he's got no time to work with here. All in vain, as we'll go through that first stretch, tied up 3-3. Both of these teams as even as we'd expect, as chaotic as we'd expect, and as exciting as we had hoped.
Houghton getting into that plant spot on the inside, on the inception of the smoke dropping through the hatch, that was pretty brilliant. He gets right in behind Canadian as he emerges through that cloud of smoke right in front of him. But yeah, he tries to take a gunfight against NVK instead of trying to go for the plant tucked inside the corner, and NVK wins that out, and that kind of completely put a nail in the coffin of the push there for DarkZero. So as is typical on Oregon, it's the half at 3-3. So it'll come down most likely all the way the distance, the final 6 rounds. It'll be Evil Geniuses swapping over to the attack and DarkZero onto the defense. As Evil Geniuses did, DarkZero will start upstairs. A little bit of a different operator lineup than Evil Geniuses were bringing, but I imagine it would be the deployment of the personnel that will be the real telltale sign of how this round will progress.
I'd imagine there probably won't be as much of a tower emphasis given the fact that DarkZero is already investing in the bathroom and kitchen downstairs. It's going to be very similar to what we saw from Evil Geniuses on their second successful defense of the dorms, where they basically just boxed all of DZ out. You just keep bodies watching those rotates. You keep a body below to watch a rappel in on the windows of kids' dorms, as we saw, and then you basically just force your opponents to push all at the same time, and you hope that you have yourself in the right position. That's all. Information is going to be the most important part. But I mean, one of the major criticisms that a lot of teams have about Oregon, because it is often so unpredictable, is because it's actually quite predictable in the way that you attack it. There's only so many ways into kids' dorms, for example, and small changes are what makes the difference. And a small change can have a massive snowball effect on a map like Oregon. You're limited for rotates, especially over on the tower side. Usually if you lose control, it necessitates a run out of some kind, as we saw from Geo and NVK getting very close to being taking Jarvis out in an early contest here. But as I was saying, you have to go for broke in a lot of cases. You have to take these chances. We saw EG do it a couple times. It worked out on occasion. It didn't work out when Canadian got caught in the first 2 rounds, but a good course correction from EG to play a bit more conservatively. I would imagine that DarkZero is probably going to play quite conservatively on defense, not as aggressive as they played on attack. But aggressiveness can pay off. It seems to get under the skin of EG quite well.
Seen plenty of examples of that in recent history. So you got 3 members of DarkZero downstairs right now, Jarvis, Mint, and Nyx. Looks like they're retreating now off the Jackal pings from Canadian. So one Spanish operator attacking against the other from former teammates, BC and Canadian. Inside of Showers now, he'll hold out the rotate. A Legion mine will stick in the foot of Necrox. He tries to rotate down, and there is a flank coming, but it's the top of the armory stairs, not the bottom. It's hot and cold as the dock will flex down, and Jarvis and Mint also push their way into meeting. So you're leaving just BC alone as Nyx is still tucked away inside of the bathroom. Just escaping the purview now is Jarvis. He steps down the hallway. NVK will trade out Mint after he takes down Necrox. We level at 4v4. Geo with the skeleton key out, waiting for a flank down the bathroom hallways. Houghton has made his way in as he launches the frag grenade. Nyx turns the corner and removes Geo from play. The Jackal ping's still on the Jaeger inside of the bathroom. It's all spiraling out of control now for Evil Geniuses as Hot and Cold turns the corner.
I was going to say, if you can't control white, you might as well try to hold that classroom angle, and that's exactly where Houghton was playing. We saw him there earlier. He hadn't fallen off that position. So you lose all of your bodies except for NVK and Young. So you got your very typical hard breacher and Thatcher combo. BC's going to get under fire from below, but the position of NVK will be given away. And I would assume that DarkZero knows that the presence on the main floor is continuing apace. You cannot begin to attack this second site upstairs until you have control of the bottom floor, and allow Nyx to be as aggressive as he is. He's going to get pinched on 2 separate angles. He knows that there's a walk-in from the bathroom door. It's Young who will win that one out. He'll come back towards the B site. Look up through the floor. Jarvis gets picked off on a bit of an unlucky shot on his part, and now DarkZero find themselves in a position where this can easily disappear. They'll hold on for dear hope, as a body will come down the armory stairs, feed itself into Hot and Cold's angle, and there'll be BC to do cleanup onto Young, as EG just simply ran out of time, and DZ practiced that patience, that conservative playstyle that we'd mentioned, and let EG come to them walked right into their crosshairs, and DZ will regain the lead.
Ran out of time and ran out of bodies downstairs. That was an ineffective room clear of the kitchen and bathroom, to say the least. A good flank there from Hot and Cold on the dock as well, flexing down the armory stairs and just unaware. Not enough information coming out, even with the Jackal. Not enough information as they were focused on the 3 members that were already down on the main floor. A good retreat there on the Jackal ping of, I believe, the Legion of Jarvis that had retreated up through the tower stairs to distract the purview of Evil Geniuses. Allows the perfect hole for Hot and Cold to make his ingress in through the bathroom, hallway, and classroom. So Canadian will still be taking the Jackal as he 6 picks off of the Nomad. But it's DarkZero, I believe, yes, heading to a tower defense when they are not forced to. Could have gone downstairs, but a good surprise factor here, as it doesn't look like a lot of utility has been taken on the side of Evil Geniuses in preparation for this specific push. You've got Geo with some frag grenades and NVK with the EMPs to possibly dismantle some of the ADSs that will be placed up top. But we've already seen Nyx on the attacking side and how maneuverable he is and how slippery he is. We can imagine how difficult he'll be to lock down even in a tight corridor like T3.
I'd imagine so. This is a theory behind DarkZero waiting as long as they did to bust this out. They went to tower a couple times back the very first time, and I think you were critical of the strategy, or
When?
no, not you. It would have been Milos who was critical of going to tower a number of times, if I remember correctly, and early though, going to tower early, all the way back at the start of the season, because you weren't on the broadcast.
I was gonna say, I got here a month ago.
I know. It feels like longer, which is good.
It does.
It does. But no, it was because I didn't cast that match. It was Milos and Emzo who casted that match in particular, and they were very skeptical of the fact that you go to tower when you don't necessarily need to.
That's DarkZero in a nutshell.
Right, and I mean, you trace this team's lineage back as long as you have, and they have a propensity to go to sites that they don't necessarily need to go to. Back when Clubhouse's upstairs sites were almost completely undefendable, they would go over to the cache and CCTV side. Of course, since the map has been changed, it's pretty common now, but still.
We won't mention that Cafe game, Year 2, Season 3 against Infamy.
No, but I mean, at the same time, I think there is a strategy to going to sites that you're not expecting. You know, it was noted on the Villa matchup in game number 1. Rise even said, England in the interview, we went to library downstairs because we are aware a lot of teams don't know how to attack it. Now, the difference is that most teams likely know how to take tower. That's not the big issue here. Of course, it could be different. This is, once again, speculation, just because there is a mirror on the board. A lot of teams do ban mirror here. Both these teams tailored their bans to one another. So you have your comfort band, so to speak. And typically the way your tower play is going to work out is it's going to take quite a while for you to get your ducks in a row, and then you hope that your ducks are able to make their way down the river in time before the clock runs out. Your ducks might also be equipped with weapons. So wait until the dying 20 seconds, snap your fingers, and everybody folds on in. It's very similar to what we saw the last time around. So not uncommon to see people still on drones, 30 seconds left, 40 seconds left, etc., while holding meeting hall. Similar to what Nyx did for DarkZero, we see Young in that position right now, along with NVK, just waiting and watching to see if there's anybody that's going to try and come down the stairs. And I mean, BC is there in a very interesting position as the Echo. You give up the Planted Island, the Yokais, and that's a pretty easy kill for EG to open this up.
Good spot there by Young on the quick peek. BC ineffective at pulling the trigger, and honestly, easy collection of a kill there. Mint now flashed out on stage, is being droned out as well, as Young will continue to push through meeting. We've got Hot and Cold upstairs in the attic covering the hatch, and Young has had to fall back and continue his position at split. There's not a lot to be done here for EGs. They're running out of time. The Canadian will collect the kill onto Mint and another one onto Nyx through the stairs. Now the smoke's coming out, and he's trying to plant. A nitro cell coming out from Jarvis, though, will stop the plant dead in its tracks. 15 seconds, and then the rest of Evil Geniuses have to collapse upon Jarvis as he tries to rotate back up the tower stairs, unaware of Geo's location. It's Evil Geniuses clawing another one back, and we said that DarkZero did not need to go to tower. Does not work out for them, and it came down to the dire seconds again. It looked like DarkZero were doing a good job of stalling out. Evil Geniuses on the push, but EG with a good response and good collapse on the last remaining member.
I think part of the theory behind going to tower as well is that most people are anticipating you're going to go to laundry supply room next.
Exactly.
You bring the tools to be able to deal with laundry supply room, but EG's not that kind of team that isn't going to be aware of that fact. So you bring the tools to attack tower just in case. And it worked out. It worked out quite well. Jarvis looked like he might be able to save it at the last second, but It was a 1v3 at that point, 1v4. As he's walking up the stairs, you're probably not getting out of that alive. And that's exactly what happened. He didn't make it much farther. There's multiple guns trained at his specific position on the stairs. Because, you know, C4s don't just fly out of nowhere. You know where they're coming from. You know it's on the bottom of the stairs, or that first floor. You can just simply watch that angle. You get boxed in. Whole team's tied up. And laundry supply room, a much more common sight, both in terms of what we see and also a place to defend. And this is more like it. DZ will be bringing a Mira, and unlike Evil Geniuses, who defended the bottom floor with a Mira being absent, we're going to see exactly how DZ are going to be able to play around this. You look at EG's lineup, and with the exclusion of the frag grenades on Sledge, there's nothing that can force somebody out of the cubby where that Mira window is going to be placed, except for Young's X-Kairos if he destroys the Black Mirror. If the X-Kairos proved to be unsuccessful, what tools do you have to stop that plant denial other than just hard holding that angle and hoping that you kill them when they go to peek?
You got 2 smokes on Canadian. It's kind of your only other option. And there's no ADSs being brought as there's no Jaeger in the fold for DarkZero in this round. A little peculiar, so with no ADS, Geo's frag grenades will have free reign, and the smoke grenades from Canadian. You've also got flashbangs on Young. So you're still in a good spot here as far as your throwable utility, but you're right. That's not the end-all be-all to clear out a mirror window, and you gotta be pretty lucky as well to get a mirror window destroyed with the Hibana X-Kairos. All it takes is an impact nade soaring out. Peeking from hallway with the impact nade. You can peek from hallway and shoot off the X-Kairos. It's a tower take right now from Evil Geniuses. So it looks like they'll be more preoccupied with the back mirror and hot and cold to the stage while we'll decapitate NVK. There goes your Thatcher. There goes your EMPs. Those mute jammers will stay in tow for the rest of the round.
That means that Young's ability to take out that Black Mirror is now gone. Unless you're able to burn any ADSs on the board. DarkZero doesn't have any, so you don't have to worry about that. Geo is now going to need to nail a frag grenade behind that Black Mirror, providing there's a mute jammer behind it, or you don't have an opportunity to flush somebody out of it. That's huge. That is one of the best tools that EG have at their disposal, and there's no Maverick in play. You don't have a Twitch. You have an IQ, but she's going to be able to spot where the jammers are, but that's going to be it. So what do? Well, you put all of your X-Kairos up on the hatches, and you just kind of have to go for a supply take now. Laundry will largely be conceded by EG, it appears, at least for the time being. That's going to be the case. And EG is just going to have to go for broke towards the back of the site. That's really all you can do. Those have got Nyx prone down, looking up in a spot that is affectionately referred to as Harry Potter, just to see if there's going to be somebody who comes from the back tower. I mean, it's basically a flank watch at that point. Geo's going to drop towards the back of the stairs, and, well, Mint is there to grab him through the hatch. Down will go the Sledge. All the SAS operators on the board, but 2 of them shot down. That'll be on EG's side.
You got Nyx pushing up the back of the tower stairs, and Mint in support now as they both come filing out of that blue tunnel. Canadian in response will try to push through the blue tunnel from the exterior, and now Necrox will drop the hatch into the hallway. Pre-fire's not giving away his position. No one on DarkZero aware of Necrox's position. Young and Necrox grab 2. There's still one in behind boxes right now as Jarvis will launch out a Nitro Cell and finally able to detonate in the dying seconds as he's 5 HP. Young with the rush and the trade. Now Canadian following in turn. 10 seconds remaining and they have to rush through. Mint on the flank. Canadian able to rip right through BC, and the plant going to be going down in the front. No Toxic Babes remaining as Mint on this vault will give away on the sound cue, turns the corner, and Young point blank. The Bearing 9 and Evil Geniuses dire straits, but bring one back from the jaws of defeat.
I think it's really hard to properly discuss how poorly DarkZero played that. You are in a 5v3. You know that you don't have to worry about Laundry at all. There are 2 hatches to watch, 2 positions to hold, and Young and Necrox become the human embodiment of a wrecking crew and completely clear out your site. If this game ends up going in favor of EG, that is going to be the pivotal round on which DZ looks back upon and kicks themselves.
Yeah, I wouldn't even look at the tower defense. It was a good idea to try and, change things up and bring a surprise round. That's the one that I would be upset about.
You take out NVK, you take out the Thatcher. So you know that at this point, EG basically has to move towards taking supply. Because DarkZero have a mute jammer up on the wash basin. It's going to be getting the hatch above it. You can't pressure from laundry. With the hatch being closed, you're not going to try to go for a plant, because how do you watch the diffuser? So you know exactly where you're going to go from. DZ have 5 people left to just watch 2 hatches and the back stairs. That's it. That's all they needed. And it wasn't even that DarkZero just lost their gunfights. They just seemed to be completely unaware of the fact that EG decided to drop through those hatches at the same time. Now, maybe it's messy comms, you don't really know, but for a team that is looking to represent their region, that's a terrible mistake to have happen to you. EG played that well, and as much as I want to give praise to EG, you have to look at what went wrong more than anything, because that was not necessarily EG just grabbing that round. That was more DarkZero just being lost. And too many bodies on DarkZero watching too many of the same angles, and they missed every single one.
Yeah, 3 members of DarkZero all watching the box door into supply room instead of focusing on the hallway hatch where Necrox had dropped. Well, that aside, back upstairs. NVK, though, will collect the kill onto Nyx on the back tower stairs. So there goes your flanking potential of the Jaeger in behind. You've got the Nomad this time around for NVK as finally grabs the kill. And he's able to set up these air jabs in the back of tower. A run out now from Hot and Cold out the bottom white window. Jarvis has taken a bit of damage as well, down to about 60 HP. Hot and could juice him back up to 100 on 1 stim pistol, but it looks like in an attempt to emulate what DarkZero was bringing on their attacks towards Kid's bedroom and generator, it'll be Evil Geniuses attempting a tower take.
This is interesting for DarkZero. We mentioned the staying power of these teams. We mentioned pressure. DZ are aware that they have an opportunity. They have an opportunity to possibly go and clinch their spot. They do not clinch if EG wins this round. They will not be able to win. They don't get enough points. We move on from there. So this is a crucial round, and as crucial as it gets, first contact is going to be in kitchen, and Necrox just walks right in, trade it off, but you still lose a body, and down goes Canadian. That's a lot of utility. Hot and Cold with the ACOG will be able to tap out the Capitao. And EG will now scramble and possibly try to correct any of these mistakes. NVK is going to flank watch himself. He has that very narrow angle in pantry. Both Geo and NVK are trying to tag Jarvis as there's some harassment from Geo's Twitch drone. He's trying to coax the Valkyrie out of the kitchen. There you go. Jarvis walks right into the clutches of Geo. But keep in mind, there's 40 seconds left, and you're defending Kids' dorms. You got 2 bodies upstairs, and there's mural windows that will be aiding you with this information. It's going to be a push over from Attic side.
One of the biggest problems is you're split pushing from every possible angle, but Young will click the kill onto BC, so suddenly it's Hot and Cold. In a 1v3, he gets down, self-reviving at the top of White Stairs. Evil Geniuses guarantee themselves a point. They guarantee themselves a shot at Milan still, and most importantly, they stop DarkZero from clinching. They are 1 round away from tying DarkZero in points.
This is a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. First and foremost, EG started off this match looking a little shaky, a little sloppy. DarkZero were capitalizing. They had tons of confidence. You could tell the way they were entering. They were getting extremely confident with the way that they were playing. But they slowly started to lose out. And it seems that as EG warmed up, DarkZero just folded under pressure. And that's what it appears to be. Not just the way that DarkZero plays this poorly, but also the way that EG plays it well. Inverse of the round that we just saw in round number 9 on Laundry Supply Room downstairs that EG won a round in a 3v5. They probably shouldn't have walked away with a victory in. That dorms hold, that was a mixture of chaos from DarkZero, and EG stacking up well. Putting a body over towards Attic. You have BC trying to watch 2 separate angles, assisting Hot and Cold on the White Stairs, but then you end up with people looking in the same direction, essentially. BC staring at White Stairs where Hot and Cold is playing. He has his back turned to Young, playing on the Kids' dorm windows. It just seems that for the last 2 rounds, whether it's chaotic communication from DarkZero, or whether it's nerves getting into the team's head, all that matters is that DarkZero have had some wires crossed over the last 2 rounds, and EG have capitalized on it. Not necessarily 2 rounds ago, but last round, masterfully.
So, if you're Evil Geniuses, you stand at the precipice. Drawing DarkZero in points, but you will win out on the tiebreaker if you win this game. You even went out on tiebreak if you tie them in points at the end with a draw here. NVK, though, will look to start things off with a bang once again on the tower stairs, and NVK rubbing it in a little as Nyx will fall. There goes the Jaeger on the tower stairs within the first 30 seconds in back-to-back rounds. Evil Geniuses starting out hot, and they want to go for their tower take yet again. The recharge on the stage wall, the same air jabs. EG looking to replicate and put a nail in this coffin.
That's a great entry, and it's something that really does not work well for DarkZero. Nyx has been maybe unfairly criticized for being a bit too aggressive and putting himself in harm's way needlessly. Whether he's on an anchor roll, whether he's on a roam roll, it doesn't really matter. But all that good luck that he seemed to get against Canadian on Canadian's roam has now come back to bite him and the rest of his team, as he's been the opening death now here on defense far too many times for his team's comfort. This is still definitely winnable, but it's a lot harder now. You've sacrificed a bit of control that you have. Geo in vain, throwing out a frag grenade, trying to see what EG is capable of doing. And there goes another body. No support for DarkZero's roamers, as both Jarvis and Nyx had nobody there to trade them out, and EG reads into that. And with the way that we saw Geo and NVK working together in particular, you've got to imagine that EG is very likely aware of how unsupported the offsite players at DarkZero are. They're going to feast on the corpse, though, of DarkZero, or on the body at least, and leave very little pickings on the corpse of DarkZero, as it's a 2v5 for DarkZero. EG very firmly looking to lock this one away, not just give a major boost to their own chances to make Milan, but also vanquish a foe that they have had to face many, many times.
The shots there from hot and cold, and he will be shredded by Necrox now. Mint last alive in a 1v5. He's able to take down NVK through the attic breach hole, but now the plant is completed in a 1v4. Impossible task now for Mint as he tries to surmount through this armory stairs doorway. He's going to drop out through the attic hatch. Head down to kitchen. He's going to hit an air jab that'll just burn some more time. Geo rubbing it in a little bit as he's still alive and he's able to type in chat. Spotting the head but not pulling the trigger. Necrox will finish things off. Evil Geniuses now on top in North America. It's been DarkZero's position to lose for the longest time, but Evil Geniuses usurping the dominance in North America. They now take the #1 spot in NA.
What was at stake here for DarkZero more than anything was trying to hold on to the differential that you had between the two teams. Keep in mind that the very first tiebreaker that you see is head-to-head matchups. The very first game between DarkZero and Evil Geniuses went in favor of DZ 7-5. In order to not end up with EG taking the lead, you need to either win, draw, or at least lose 5-7 so that you're tied, and then it goes to round differential, which right now EG is crushing every team in North America with an astonishing +23 heading into this matchup. With them winning right now, they're going to add a +3 to that total. They'll go up to +26 now. There's no way that it seems like any team is going to catch that over the next couple weeks. With the 7-4 victory for EG, they now take the tiebreaker against DarkZero. So even if DarkZero makes it into Milan, if they're tied in points with EG, DarkZero is not going to finish atop North America, which means that they will likely have a tougher matchup in the first round. But that's all speculative because this race is wide open. But it is worth noting that with EG winning,
Space Station's done.
Space Station can no longer make Milan. So now it is a three-way race between DarkZero, Evil Geniuses, and Reciprocity, with EG sitting atop the standings, DZ in second, and Rec in third. And keep in mind, next week's match, EG plays Reciprocity. DarkZero has the night off. If EG wins that match outright against DZ, then DZ makes it to Milan without even having to play the match themselves. Because Reciprocity does not have the tiebreaker against DZ, and even if DZ loses, Rec will still tie and sit at 23 points. So, there's still hope for DZ. It's still very likely that they'll make it, but this is, obviously, this is a killing blow to Space Station. Their chances to make Milan are gone. And for EG, this is a massive victory. So, we have an interview with Canadian ready. We'll bring him up. Hopefully he has more of a voice than he had last time. I would imagine you do. I would imagine that you were probably shouting a fair bit this game, knowing that it is somewhat personal to you, and I hope that you didn't lose the rest of it. First and foremost, congratulations. Your team entered today, if the standings were only for the second half of the season, dead last. You only had 2 points to show for it. How much is this getting the monkey off your back, so to speak, as it's been 2 months now since your team's been able to pick up a victory?
Yeah, ever since Invitational, we definitely felt we had been in a slump, just kind of stale, like things were, just felt like we were going through the motions, kind of. I mean, we've been through it before, like the core of our team has been together forever, pretty much. So we've been through it before, decided we wanted to try like a more drastic change in roles, swapped me onto more supportive roles on attack, and freed up Amara a bit, Necrox, and that way I could focus on calling more and just keep us more flexible. Just things wouldn't be as stale that way. Like I could focus more on IGLing, and that way it's not like we're just running a strat and that's it. So we tried mixing that up, and I think ever since our comms and just the fluidity has been a lot better, and I think today that showed. So yeah, just really proud of the team. Yeah, there was definitely some yelling in that match. I think Young was louder than me, actually. Young got real loud. A couple guys on that team wanted to cut him, so.
It appears that we're going to be airing all of the dirty laundry in North America on all of our interviews today. Knowing that you were going up against both BC and Bacon, was this match personal for you? It was BC's first time facing your squad since coming back. Was there anything like that at play, any emotions behind your team?
I don't think it was as much as the last split. The last split, if you could tell, I was definitely emotional. I said some words in chat, stuff like that.
Couldn't tell.
This one wasn't as much. This was just more focusing on ourselves, getting out of that slump and stuff. I mean, obviously we really want to beat them, but yeah, it wasn't that kind of vibe this time. I think we were just focused on getting out of our slump, making sure that we can qualify for Milan. Obviously, still some work to do there, but good step in the right direction.
Now, with this victory, statistically, it becomes really likely that both you and DarkZero will represent the region. Ultimately, their fate is actually in your hands. As I'm sure you're aware, if you defeat Reciprocity next week, it'll lock in both DarkZero and you as the two teams to represent North America. I'm sure that's something that will go into your preparation, knowing that you control the fate of, two teams essentially in one match. When you talk about switching roles to go to a more supportive role, this was something that, if I remember correctly, you tried with BC when you moved Necrox onto more of an aggressive role. It didn't end up working out that time, and you changed back not soon after. Why do you think it'll stick this time? Is it just the roster being different?
Actually, when BC was on the team, I didn't ever really move to a full supportive role. We moved me like closer to the push, but I was still playing like Sophia, nades, that kind of stuff. So now more smoke offs, more droning, and I think it's a lot better. I think before it was a matter of we didn't have the same level of aggression if I was not on those roles, and I think we have that with Geo still and Amar. Like I think Brandon really needed to be on one of those slower roles. He's a really methodical player, and so did Young. So I don't think we had as many options with our roles before, and I think we have a lot more now.
My last question really comes down to the map choice. DarkZero has not played Oregon for ages. They start playing it this season. They have pretty good success. Obviously, a lot of that hinged on the Blitz play. Oregon is also a map that a lot of people affectionately refer to as the map where good teams go to die. I'm assuming that you anticipated playing on Oregon today, and I just want to know your full thought process behind why Oregon, why a map? Did you think that you had an edge over DarkZero? What was the process behind that?
I mean, we did expect Oregon. It was one of the maps we expected. There was a couple maps that we really knew we would most likely play, and we did. But we went to Oregon, obviously it's a really comfortable map for us. I think that's kind of a known fact at this point. Like, we have a really good record on Oregon. We've had like a couple hiccups here and there, but I think for the most part, like, it's by far and away our best map in terms of record. And also I know that, I know how BC likes the map to be played, how Bacon likes the map to be played. And we can kind of read into that. And I think they tried to bring in some of the techniques and ideas that we had in mind when we used to play Oregon with Brandon on the team. And I just think, we know how to play against it. We've ran it forever, so.
Perfect. Well, it was one of your mainstays for quite a while, and a lot of teams have seen their Oregon play fall off a little bit. And it's been interesting to watch the trajectory of that map. And your trajectory, too, now, picking up a big 3 points, your first win of the second half, and it's propelled you up to first in North America with only 2 weeks left. Anything to say to the fans and the viewers before the end of the interview?
Just thanks for supporting us. Hopefully we can keep it up, make sure that we can qualify for Milan. And yeah, just thanks for support. We'll be back next week. Hopefully still out of our slump, not back into another one.
Well, rest your voice up, because I'm sure you'll be doing a lot of shouting against Reciprocity next week. Have a good night, Troy.
That's the plan. Good night. Thank you.
Thanks.